Excuse me. Oh, hi. This is OEQ, and I have a subject that might be of interest to some people that either play, mostly play Rangers, but I suppose Druids too, which are notorious for being short on mana. Sometimes Rangers get a little short on mana when they are, playing in groups or in raids and stuff. And so this is what I've kind of solution. I've been grouping more, so I've been like, oh, I can't just do what I want anymore. I gotta make sure I benefit everybody else and kind of have mana when I really need it. So here's what I have done. I have relied on, yet again, audio triggers and the good old gift of mana right here goes off. And in case you're unfamiliar with it, I'm not going to bring it up in the AAs, but it's passive AA that when you cast a spell, and I do believe it has to be spells, excuse me, the the next spell cast only costs like 1 mana, which is basically free. I'm not sure. There's probably some programming solution that they had to put just like 1 mana for the value. They had to put a value in there and it wouldn't accept 0, maybe. I don't know. Whatever they do. But like 1 mana, right? So that's free. It is free. So that's pretty awesome. So what I've done is I've reconfigured my layout here just a little bit to accommodate this trigger that play it. That's what Gift of Mana sounds like when it pops off. I put this pattern in, and this way it'll only pop off when I have a Gift of Mana. Headshot I think is a little harder to do. I don't know. I haven't really bothered. Typically, if I'm headshotting, I'm soloing anyway. Well, I guess I'm not really. It's kind of fun in a group if there's more than one ranger and we're both kind of headshotting. It's just it's kind of crazy. It's kind of fun. Anyway, so headshots, just headshot. It's just the way I have it. If you want to try to refine it so it's only your headshot that goes off, then that's cool. You can let me know, and I'll try it out. It's really generally preferred. I'm just being kind of lazy. But the Gift of Mana it's great, and this should go off only when I have one. So I'm gonna headshot for a little while. I'm gonna be, I'm a weird guy, maybe, I don't know. A lot of people, they don't cast hardly any spells at all when they're headshotting. I like to cast the arrow spells. It goes quicker, and I think there's a lot of evidence that just supports that, when you get more arrows out there, you're more likely to do a headshot, and both these do 4 extra arrows in one shot. And I've headshot like all 4 times on either this one or that one before, and just completely annihilated the mob, So another little fun thing, Ranger. If you like to pew pew and do lots of damage, Rangers are pretty awesome, man. They're pretty fun. Just so you know. All right, so this little spot here. There we go. These so I'm just going to start going, here before I start here. So this number 6 key here, I have for my, I named it Big Shot and Dot, Big Shot Dot. This has got my progression spell, which is, for me, it's a combination of a nuke and a couple of arrows that it shoots. They're at pretty high damage if I remember right. I'm not going to, okay, fine, I'll bring it up. Oh yeah, they're like super high damage. 2 deadly arrows with a damage base of 2,945. And I assume this goes up a massive amount if you progress it. I never progress it, so yeah, I'm a bad boy, sue me. But that's what, just how can you argue against that? That's awesome. Pretty cool. I didn't realize it was quite that high. I was like, holy crap. And then these nukes are really, the deluge to say anything. So there you go. So I got that. This has a casting timer, so this damage over time is not going to go off. This is extremely expensive. This pain in the rump. You kind of wish it was a little cheaper. I mean, good God, they got to make it holy. I'm a hybrid. You know, this right here is expensive for like my necro. It's like, holy crap, dude, come on, man. So, you know, I only cast this if I hear that gift, if I notice Gift of Mana's gone off. And, you know, just, you know, I'll do it. It's an instant cast. And at that point, it's free. But any other time, man, you're gonna be. This is why people, I think, probably, you know, get low on mana, because they're just pushing out as much damage as they can possibly do, and they don't pay attention to all the mana they're spending, and then next thing you know, they're out of mana, and they've only been playing for like 5 minutes in a group or a raid or something, and you feel handicapped. Well, you gotta solve that problem, man. You just gotta work around it, figure it out, dude. So this is my solution, and I've been playing around with it for a bit, and it's worked fine, right? So I modified my shots thing a bit so that I got these two really cheap, powerful arrow dots that just shoot arrows, and also the claim shots does you know, that buff for archery and everything. This right here, Heartbreak, a heart whatever arrow that uses these arrows as a component, a spell component. That's why they're in a regular bag, and they won't mess up your trick shot. As I've mentioned before, trick shot will only go off if you have 2 arrows, one in your quiver and one in your ammo slot, that are the exact same type of arrow. Then and only then will you be doing trick shots, which is basically the archery's double attack. I believe it might. I think it's just double. I don't think it does triple occasionally. You could probably check into that. Maybe if I might check into it myself, because it feels like it really goes off. I mean, you know, we're just flailing arrows like crazy, like a madman, like a freaking, you know, elven Gatling gun, you know, just, you know, so, you know, whatever. But it's awesome. Anyway, so it's just a little side note again about the arrows. Ancient Arrow, as far as I know, is for several years now, this has been the best arrow you can have. Okay, you have to have a pretty high. If you're not a crafter, you can usually get somebody that kind of makes some of these for you pretty cheap. The biggest hurdle on this is just having the skill to make them if you want to do it yourself. Even on FV here, which is where I'm at now, I'm on this character. Some weird. I saw somebody in the bazaar that was selling like a stack of 100 of these for like 800 plat. I'm like, holy crap, that's super expensive, because all you need, I mean, you're done using arrows after by level 65 or something. It's crazy. Either that, I don't know what they're thinking exactly, because they could sell them one at a time and end up making probably more money, or at least sell them more often, because nobody's going to buy those more than just a couple at a time if they know what they're doing anyway. It's crazy. So if you're one of those people that sell those in stacks, you know, you don't need to sell them in stacks. By the time you make a new ranger, and you know, you sneeze and suddenly you're level 65. I mean, it doesn't take that long at all to get to level 65 anymore. Okay, especially on the FV server. Holy crap on a cracker. It is so easy to level up to at least 65. You can do it in a day or two. This is nuts. And then I got these 2 disciplines here on my main number 4 button, this macro. It's got the Maelstrom Blades. This says blades, and you might think it's a melee attack or something, but it actually shoots arrows, which I assume because it has damage. Another rule of thumb that I'll repeat again is, and this one I will show, blades, whatever. Whether you have a spell, and I'll use this as another example. Heartbreak is a difference. Go small. Okay. This is a discipline, and it aims 4 arrows at a base damage of a certain amount. This says 452, right? It has to say base damage of a certain amount, and that means that this is going to be basically a weapon attack or an arrow attack, okay? Which means it will be able to trigger headshot, okay? So you got that, but unfortunately, near as I can tell, even though this shoots arrows, you can't do this from ranged. It's a little strange. I'm mostly certain. I'm not sure if I really paid attention close enough to really be that confident in that statement. Maybe we'll test it out. I'll just trigger it with a click on here manually and see if we can do it from range. See if it does it. Anyway, and then this, of course, here, this is a spell, and this is the inevitable shots, but you see it has 2 archery attacks of 397 damage, right? 2 archery attacks of 449 damage. So, 2 and 2 is 4. So you're shooting 4 arrows at one time. And this buff that it gives 40% more damage to archery attacks, it applies to these right here also, because they are archery attacks. And all the arrows you're pew-pewing also, right? That's why everybody loves this. Every ranger loves to have this buff on. They start off with it. Okay, and of course the focus whirlwind of arrows, that's got arrow attacks also, right? Base damage of 378, right? So these right here. Now Heartbreak, which is here, if you'll notice, it says it's a magical arrow, but magical, I guess, but the resist the physical, hence the arrow. I'm not understanding exactly why the resist the physical necessarily, if it's saying, but however the resist works out, one thing is for sure, and that is this is a nuke. It is not an arrow attack, okay? Because it deals this amount of damage. It doesn't say it has an arrow attack or of a base damage of a certain amount or anything like that. This is a nuke, okay? And this big nuke of it is for animals or humanoids, and other types do less damage, which is still pretty decent, but not the big whopping damage. But Heartbreak will break your heart by breaking root. it'll break the root occasionally, not always, but a good amount. So I have this in here in this main button I got here because I group a lot with my ranger, so it's gonna snow with my ranger. So I just kind of plow on this bit, and if I get an off tank for like a half a second without dying, someday I'll pop my defense and then I'll just hope I live, kind of a thing. Another thing that I made a horrible mistake that I kind of forgot about headshotting overall is that your weapon buff that you can do through your buffing. I always use the AA buffs. That's why, this is the Unity buffs that Rangers get for basically self-buffing. And I put this as solo buffs, and I put this as group buffs. The only difference in these two, the Aja or Baza, is the weapon proc that you get. And in groups, I'm doing the most damage as I can. I probably should rename these, but I needed something to kind of really trigger in my brain, because I always forget, Aza or Baza, which is which. So this, or Azia buff gives you just a really high weapon type damage nuke that looks like a lightning bolt coming down. It looks really cool. It goes off a lot too. But the other one here that I put solo buffs, This one has got that weapon proc that goes off that it does do damage. And this is why I click it off when I'm headshotting, because then it gives you that thunderclap buff for like 15 seconds or whatever it is that basically makes you invulnerable to melee attacks for that amount of time, which can save your bacon, and it goes off a decent amount. Not doesn't seem like it goes off near as much as that other just raw nuke buff. So, but if you're expected to off tank once in a while in situations, you know, you want to keep this buff on you from the Beza Unity AA. And I've started using the haste potions also, so that helps out a lot. You want to make sure you get the elixirs that's got 10 on it, or X for you younger folk that never learned Roman numerals, because that gives 50%. It's only 10% less than a lot of the haste buffs that you'll run across, with the exception of I think Enchanter can give a higher haste, as well as the aura from Shaman gives like 80%. So anyway, so I click the weapon proc part of my buffs, and I'm just going to go ahead and rebuff and show you, I guess. Get out of the range of that numbskull, because I can buff anyway. All right, so there we go. There's that. Go invisible again just in case, and I don't want anything interrupting me. See this buff right here? This is from my soul, but this is the Beza Unity buff. It gives the arcing blades, and it results in a thunderclap that allows you to parry all incoming attacks for 6 seconds. This is extended to, I think it's 12 to 15 seconds, somewhere in there. I think it's closer to 15 seconds. Which is, yeah, it's a good thing to have on if you're expected to off tank once in a while. But most of the time, you're going to want the other buff. I think both these are down. Is it down? Check it out. Yeah, it's down. I don't have it up to let me know if it's up, but I'm buffed. All the other buffs, except for the weapon proc, this one or the other one that just does raw damage, all this other stuff is the same. So, and that's the basic. I'm not going to go over each one or anything. I mean, so I click this off when I'm headshotting, because I don't want the damage. Even though it's less damage than the other one, it still breaks root. And you'll notice a definite difference in how long your roots are lasting when you're headshotting if you make sure to click that off. You don't want to block it. I don't want to block it anyway, because that buff is, when you have to melee, it can save your bacon really, really well. I just do not want to. I'm going to rebuff everything. May as well. It can definitely save your bacon. I always use the Spirit of Eagle AA for a little bit of a run speed buff, and plus it's a long lasting one. It's not permanent like the other levitation stuff, but you know, that's okay. I can always, it's got a short timer. I can always just recast it. I got this in case other people want perfected in levitation and stuff, so it saves me having to, because most people, the shaman one will override this, I believe. I don't want to spread rumors, okay? Just, you know, that's just why I do it. I'm sure a lot of people just don't want to do it like that, and that's fine. Let me do these other buffs, and then I'll stop yakking. I'll try to demonstrate how my little new setup works. So those are the two different ones. I'll go over the macros here real quick, and I won't talk, I promise, during the macros. If you see anything, I got them all labeled. If you see anything that you want to copy and use, you know, feel free to do that. That's part of the reason I'm doing this. That's this one. You can pause the video, and of course I'm talking. You can pause the video if you want. And I'm not talking now. Okay, I'm going to talk. Harmonious arrow. I use this to pull. And this is inside or outside. I like using this. And I very rarely have to use this lull. I've gone over how this works. I'm not going to do that. But I also put a short pause of it. This equals 1 second. And then I do entropy of nature. It's a non-damage thing that does have a bit of a casting time, but it's pretty short, pretty quick. And because the after effect on this, you have to wait like 6 seconds before, or something longer. You know, not super long. It's like, I think it's about 5 or 6 seconds. But I'd rather not wait that long for other mobs that path and screw it up. So I just 1 second and then cast this and they come. The lull and all the other mobs is in effect from the harmonious arrow. So that's why I redid this one. It's like that. I'm going through the rest of it. And now I'm not talking again. Promise. I'm not talking. This is me not talking. So I avoid, I just avoid. Okay, get more humors. Okay, here we go. Here we go. My ADD self here. Okay, those are headshots you're hearing. You'll hear the bling for the gift of mana. Here we go. And he's dead, so I can't do it. Damn it. He died too quick. Doggone it. Oh, harmonious arrow just for the lulls. See how that works? Works pretty nice. It's less of a chance for pathing to screw you up while you're waiting for the harmonious arrow delayed little pull nuke it does, which is small enough that the mob shouldn't summon you if it summons. It's a nice pull tool. I'll do Heartbreak too so you can see it break something. Of course, it doesn't break this time. Like I said though, it doesn't break root all the time, but it is a nuke and it will break root. There we go. And damn it, died too quick again. I'm just cursed with too high of DPS. Oh my goodness. The problems us Rangers face. We are in just our own personal hells, aren't we? All right. Let's see if we have a chance to use the gift of mana again here. Hey, it broke root that time. See that? I'm just casting that now because I want to proc gift of mana. Oh, got it. So this spot here in Timorius Falls is pretty good, nice for headshotting. Here on this server, there's probably a dadgummit again. He's dead. I can't use it now. I'll pull and use it. Did it use it? No, it didn't. Ha. All right, so there I hit my big shot dot, and there you go. That was my progression progression spell. That's the combination nuke and arrow. Super damage. Hey, another one. And there's the dot. If you look at my mana, it's like nothing. Okay. When you're in the flow of things, of course I hit the wrong button. When you're in the flow of things, you I think it helps. And in groups mainly, because as you well know, my method for headshotting, excuse me one more time, sorry. Sorry about that. I don't want to blow our ears. Is I only use typically this and this when I'm headshotting. They were low on mana, and that hunter's thing that goes off when you kill something that gives XP, it gives you some mana back. It's not a lot, but it's enough to compensate for these two spells. And I'm basically at 100 or 99% mana, like 24/7 when I'm headshotting, because I only really use these two spells here when I'm headshotting. If I'm bored or something, I might throw some more expensive nukes in, and stuff like that just to do it. But then I'll lay off for a while and I'll get my mana back just without even taking any breaks. I mean, there's, this is a pretty decent. Now you're not going to be spamming your dot or spamming your progression nuke as often as you are to get that good old top DPS mark in the raid or something, if that's what your thing is. But or if you're not really competitive like that and you really need the DPS, well, then you can make a judgment call on yourself whether or not. No, I went ahead and used the nuke because I'm not really procking. I'm not gonna. You saw it work with the Gift of Mana. I'm not a real detail-oriented type person overall. I'm just having fun. What was I saying? I can't hear you, so I have no idea. So, hey, there we go. Gift of Mana. Boosh! Get off me. Another Gift of Mana. Boosh. And that dot, as you can see, it just refreshes right away. So you'll always have this available to this dot here to use on the Gift of Mana, right? The massive damage. This crits for me with my sort of decent gear for about a little over 600k or something on I think it's a lucky critical or something. For a hybrid non-caster class, that's a pretty nice chunk of damage there on a, so that's cool. That kind of helps. Anyway, excuse me, man. I may not keep this recording. I'm clearing my throat way too much, and I don't want to annoy everybody. I'm getting some lag here. I'm not sure why. Like I was saying, yeah, there's a named over here. A lot of times, then I'm over here, right? This is the Tomorrow's Falls, and B Union. That's how I say his name. I'm not Bunyan. Oh, it probably is Bunyan. I've always said it B Union. Oh, I'm so stupid. Okay, Bunyan. Oh, I am dumb. Anyway, there's somebody usually sets up with a bot group like right here, and they just obliterate this entire area. And the bot groups have these really long range, excuse me, of stuff of their tank or puller that goes out. And so I was headshotting along here, up to about here, and then headshotting down along here and stuff. That whenever there's that bot group, it just they kind of leak over into this area, but they don't go this far sort of south, right? So I can clear out the guys up to about this point in this area here without too much interference from whatever Autobot jackass is doing his thing. Excuse me. Anyway, so I stay clear of that. And for some reason, everybody that's playing Rangers that likes the headshot, they steer clear of these casters. And just last night, I had an ultra rare drop of a caster one hander, that the one the Athame one that gives a little bit of mana back or something. You know, it's a good one if you root and rot on a macro. You want to have those instead of anything that does damage, but you don't really root and rot anymore, so that's kind of moot, I guess. But I still like to have those on my necro, just because it's what I do. It's tradition. Anyway. But there's a lot of targets, man. I barely have to move. I can stay. You know, I'm in this spot right here. At first, I clear this area out like you just saw me do, and then I clear all these. They're freaking everywhere, man. Look at all these people. They're just dying to die. They're just begging to just me to have them pew them and shoot them, man. It's crazy, and none of these will spawn a rare mob for hunters or anything like that. So there's not much competition. I killed those. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You got 9. They kind of move around a little bit, so they can be a little annoying, but your range pulling them with your bow is so crazy good. And obviously, for obvious reasons, because I'm soloing, I don't mess with anything besides humanoids, so I don't worry about that stuff over there. Just got to be a little mindful of this little cliff here. The timer on these mobs, I think, is about 10 minutes for the respawn. I think it's pretty. So yeah, when that goes over there, there's a lot of difference in grade here. So I typically, this one right here, this freaking fanatic is a pain in the rump to me sometimes. Once in a while, if I'm goofing around or went AFK a little bit or something, and I'm over here killing these guys here, that fanatic gets up in my jammy. If I back up just a little too much, it'll aggro me, and I got to deal with that. But I mean, I can take a hit okay from the trash mobs enough that as long as I react in a decent amount of time, I can deal with one ad. It's no big deal. Fluster bolt them off and they're fine. Get them out of my way. But this difference in grade here will kind of screw up a little bit your fluster bolt. And I've been careful not to fluster bolt one of the mobs over the cliff. I'm not sure what would happen. I'm assuming if you do that, it'll probably warp them right on top of you. So yeah, don't do that. Okay. But yeah, this is a pretty good spot. I've hesitated letting anybody know about the spot because I don't want all of a sudden to see competition. Everybody bringing their ranger here on the fee server anyway. This is one of the highest population servers, so the odds are maybe somebody that's listening to my old podcast / whatever this is might go, oh yeah, man, this is really good. You learn something new every day. This guy's a jackass, doesn't know what he's talking about, but he gave a good idea for this spot. Thanks, Wayleaf, Elwood. And then they just set up permanently here, and I can't get the spot again. I'm sure it's not that secret, but anyway, it's a good spot. Use it if you want. It's not that big a deal. I'll find some other place if somebody's here. All right. So this is Elwood EQ, and you have a good one. I'm out.